Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Faith, and today guys I'll be checking out Matt Walsh as he speaks on bad first date list goes viral. Is it right or wrong? You guys, I'm super excited for this. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, please consider subscribing. Give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And without much ado, let's see what Matt Walsh has for us in this video.
If you spend too much time on social media, then you're probably aware of the list that has been circulating for over a week now, the list of legend, the mythical list of unknown origins. Nobody's certain where this list came from or who exactly was polled in order to compile it, or if it represents anything but the opinion of some random Twitter user. It's most likely that last option, but even so, the list has, as they say, sparked a debate and given rise to a plethora of hot takes. It's also been the subject of many news articles and news reports like this one. Watch.
Unacceptable places to take a woman on a first date going viral on the social media platform X, formerly known, of course, as Twitter.
Yeah, it's leaving men stumped on where else they should take the woman. The first 6 places are popular restaurant franchise chains like Applebee's, Chili's,
I want my baby back.
Olive Garden, and the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, first of all, Olive Garden.
Yeah.
All you can eat breadsticks, salad soup. I mean, that's a value, Megan.
By the way,
What's wrong
producer
with that?
Fawaz, who made this list? Is this just going viral? Is it like on Reddit or something?
Women weighed in.
Okay, so women weighed in. Okay, so includes, Cheesecake Factory, all those. Any fast food chain
Okay,
also
Buffalo Wild Wings.
A big no.
That's a good time if there's a good game on.
Other places mentioned include movies, the gym, a bar for drinks, coffee or ice cream dates and sporting events. Pretty much these women listed everything there is to do. Clubs and hookah lounges also made the list. It got many men up in arms.
Okay, so that's the story. Someone somewhere polled some women somewhere and came up with a list that these women say they do not want to be taken on for a first date. And that list is topped by the Cheesecake Factory. It also includes Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, the movies, Buffalo Wild Wings, Red Lobster, Waffle House, fast food, the gym, bowling, buffets, nightclubs, hookah bars, sporting events, coffee shops. Basically, you should not take a woman to any known location on earth on a first date. That's what was decided by whoever decided it. And we'll move past the fact that this list is meaningless so that we can participate in this conversation, or I should say not participate in it, but deliver the definitive answer to it so that everyone can officially move on. And let's begin with what the list gets right, because it does get some things right. And I think we should acknowledge that. And it's important for young men especially to know this. In the dating scene and they're planning a first date, there are a few items on that list that you should probably, that's true. You don't want to take your date to one of those places. So it's true that fast food places are probably a little too far on the casual side for a first date. They're also, at this point, incredibly depressing dining experiences. Like I actually went in, this is true, I went inside a Wendy's somewhat recently because the drive-thru was too long. And this was the first time I've even seen one car in a Wendy's drive-thru in at least 25 years. But there was more than one. There was like 3. And I said, this is crazy. And so I went inside. And as soon as I walked in the building, I lost my appetite and then my will to live. Dreary, dirty, depressing, the employees scowling at you. Like they're shocked that you came in also. Like you don't know why you're walking into a Wendy's. They don't know why you're here and they don't want you there. People are sitting by themselves at tables and corners, like unlit corners, eating stale fries and weeping quietly to themselves. It was horrendous. Now, I still ordered my food and ate all of it, but I wasn't happy about it. And the point is that you don't want to bring a date into that kind of environment until you know that your relationship is strong enough to stare into the bowels of total hopelessness and despair and survive. And you don't want to do that on a first date. A similar issue with Waffle House, which isn't a great first date location unless you're sure that your date loves both waffles and bare knuckle street fights. And if she does, then it's basically dinner and a show. The whole thing costs less than $25. That's a good deal. I'm also going to rule out Chipotle for a first date because first impressions are extremely important, and you don't want her first impression of you or yours of her to include explosive diarrhea. And speaking of first impressions, I'll agree that buffets actually may be problematic on a first date, only because it's too early in the relationship for her to witness you just like crush 6 full plates at Golden Corral. My wife did, I remember this distinctly. My wife did not see me get to work on a buffet until at least like a few months into our relationship. And I annihilated that buffet, and she was gobsmacked. But by that point, she already knew that I was a gluttonous slob, so I was kind of, I was in a safe space. I was safe to let loose. Most of the rest of the places on that list, though, don't deserve to be on the list at all. They make excellent choices for first dates. Coffee shops and ice cream places, these are classic options. Bowling is always fun. Bowling is the kind of thing that everyone has an absolute blast doing once every 3 years. And the great thing about bowling, or something like mini golf as well, is that it gives you a fun activity to do, but still enables you to talk to each other while helping to smooth over any otherwise awkward pauses in conversation. It also allows the man to show off his skills a little bit. And I know you think that I'm joking about that. Well, why does a woman care if you're good at bowling? But it's just being good at something is attractive to even bowling. Now, the only caveat is that, and this is kind of tricky with bowling, you don't want to be too good at bowling. So the sweet spot is to bowl somewhere around a 160, 170 on the upper range of it. You don't want to get over the 200 mark because you want to look like you're naturally talented at things, but you don't want to look like you're so good at bowling because you actually take it seriously and go bowling once a week. As for chain restaurants, there should be no hesitation there at all. Yet for some reason, chain restaurants have been catching strays all over the place recently. So just 2 weeks ago, there was a viral video of a woman refusing to get out of the car on a first date because she was so offended that the man had taken her to the Cheesecake Factory. Watch.
Let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you? Look. Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
Now, first of all, the Cheesecake Factory is perfectly respectable. It's also expensive for a chain restaurant. 2 entrees, an appetizer, and a couple of drinks will easily set you back 80 or 90 bucks before tip. And that is a sizable financial investment in a date with someone you hardly know. The Cheesecake Factory, I kind of look at it as the economy plus of chain restaurants. I'm not saying it's first class, but it's not a middle seat and coach either. I spent all of my childhood and a good portion of my adult life thinking of the Cheesecake Factory as a nice, fancy type place. It's the type of place you go if you want to splurge a bit. The first time I ever went to the Cheesecake Factory, I never even went when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, the Cheesecake Factory was way outside of where we were ever going to go if we were going out to eat as a family. And that was like, if I had suggested that, my parents would have laughed at me. Like, Cheesecake Factory? What do you think, we're millionaires? So the first time I ever went, I was an adult, and I wore khakis to the Cheesecake Factory because I thought this is a fancy place. Now, the second time I wore jeans because I realized it's not worth all that. But still, the point is that no woman should be turning up her nose at a place like that. I know it's trendy to hate on chain restaurants these days, but these are affordable and accessible establishments. And if, as a woman, you expect a man to take you somewhere less accessible and less affordable when he doesn't even know you yet, that tells me that your priorities are wildly out of balance. It tells me that your priority is to have your ego fed, which means that you are not the kind of woman a man should be taking out in the first place. As I've said before, if you expect a man to pay for you on a first date and treat you on a first date, that's fine. I paid for my wife on our first date, even though when we met way back then, she was actually making more money than me, but I paid on the first date, and because I believe in chivalry and I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy. But those expectations on your part as the woman come with expectations of their own. So if you want the man to abide by traditional codes of chivalry, then you must abide by traditional codes of womanhood. You must be a sweet, feminine, conservative woman. You certainly must not describe yourself as a feminist. You cannot dip your toe in gender roles only when you think you'll get a free meal out of it. That makes you a hypocrite and a panhandler. If you want to be an old-fashioned lady, when the check comes, you better be an old-fashioned lady the rest of the time. But even if you are playing your part, you cannot demand that a man spend top dollar on you before he even knows you. It's not reasonable to expect a man to invest a day's pay or more into a restaurant tab for the sake of a woman who, for all he knows, because he doesn't know you yet, could be low quality and low character. And ironically, a woman who expects that kind of money to be spent on her by some man she doesn't know has only revealed herself to be exactly the kind of woman who is undeserving of it. Now, I will admit that I did not exactly practice what I preach in this regard. For the first date with my wife back centuries ago, I spent multiple days' pay on tickets to a fancy dinner theater. But she didn't know how much the tickets cost or how little I could afford them, and would have furiously objected had she known. But here's the other thing. It was also a risky strategy on my part, because there's another reason why I wouldn't recommend it normally, even though it worked out great for me. But I could not come close to maintaining at that level for the rest of our dating relationship. Like, that was the best date we would ever go on until we got married, because that I couldn't possibly afford to do that more than once. And from then on, it was Applebee's. And Applebee's was about as high class as it got. And she was fine with that. She's still fine with Applebee's. So, I ended up with the best of both worlds, which is what you want. A woman who knows how to carry herself in a 5-star fine dining establishment, but who's perfectly happy and at home in an Applebee's. And in fact, these days, if there's any Applebee's slander happening in our house, it's usually coming from me, I'm ashamed to admit. In any case, the point is that a first date is about beginning the process of getting to know each other or figuring each other out. You don't need to spend a lot of money to do that. A bowling alley is a great place to start that process, or a Chili's. If the night gets really wild, maybe you do both. There are enough hurdles that stand in your way as a single person in the modern dating scene. There's no reason to add more and unnecessary obstacles by being snobby and high maintenance. And that is why the women responsible for this list, if those women even exist, are today canceled.
You guys, that was such an interesting one from Matt Walsh. I always love the advice that this guy dishes out to people, because I tend to learn 1 or 2 things from him every single time I react to his videos. His advice are very valid and very, very informative. I love everything he said in this video, because I don't even know where these people dug up this list from. I don't know where else they want to be taken under the surface of the earth on a first date. This was hilarious and infuriating at the same time. Let me know your thoughts on this one. I really had fun reacting to Matt Walsh. If you guys totally enjoyed watching, give this video a massive thumbs up, comment, share, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.